Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and today we have a forum post to go over that was brought to the attention of Rach. We got some pretty interesting, I think interesting, quote-unquote news or possibilities for the future, so I think it's worth covering. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So essentially, a player made a post saying, hey, after you guys mentioned that certain legendary species with hidden abilities might be added in the future, especially with raids, they're basically concerned. They have doubts, they're concerned. Do you plan to add Blaziken with speed boost in the future? And if so, will Ubers become playable? You know, what's kind of going on as we sort of power creep and add more and more powerful Pokemon, more and more legendaries, speed boost Blaziken possibly to the game? What's their kind of plan? And they're very polite about that, which I respect. And then Rach does come on to leave a really, really healthy, nice, full response. Let's read through it. The legendaries will be allowing players to permanently obtain are ones that are balanced enough for standard OU PvP. So they're just purposefully adding weaker legendaries. We don't intend to ever make Uber legendaries obtainable in an unrestricted form, as they would entirely warp the game around themselves. If content difficulty is balanced and under the assumption that players are all using titans like Kyogre, it becomes too difficult for players who don't have access to them. If it's not balanced around them, it becomes too easy for players who do have them. Both outcomes force their usage on the vast majority of teams in order to play hard fights optimally. The possibility of an Ubers tier isn't worth the damage their permanent availability would cause to the rest of the game, although we might consider temporary ownership of them in the future, similar to King of the Hill style legendaries like we have now, but for maybe Groudon or Kyogre. It may be a different form of temporary ownage, but we'll see. However, this is the most interesting part to me. Speed Boost Blaziken may be on the table at some point, with its ability being banned in singles PvP. Okay, it's kind of, is it on the table? Due to the exceptions made for Draco Meteor Hydreigon and Swords Dance Garchomp to allow them in PvE and doubles. This was recently changed. I haven't really kept too much of a track on how Hydreigon and Garchomp are doing in doubles, honestly. It might be a good idea to go ahead and check their usage after this in a quick sec. This isn't a guarantee, though. It would only come after the extensive testing to be done to make sure it doesn't affect PvE balancing in an undesirable way. Perfect. Like, this is pretty much any time. It's just a great response. Pretty much any time people are like, oh, I'm so scared the devs are going to add this and that'll break the game. The devs are always like, hey, if we add it, we'll make sure it's balanced. And they've historically shown that, like, they're really, really good at balancing stuff. Like, if there's one thing the PokeMMO devs are really, really, really good at doing, it's balancing. They're incredibly good at balancing, incredibly good at creating a balanced game with a balanced economy. They're not always the best at communicating that or talking to the community, but Rach has been, I don't know, man. Rach has been fixing that, so, like, yeah, if anything is, I trust them on. It's absolutely, I trust them with balancing, so. Someone goes on to later ask, can we have Latios at least heal pulse in PvE? And Rage says, it's a package deal with Latios, which is threatening enough that it would be unwise to drop them before other legendaries and hidden ability mons with positive matchups against them have been introduced to the tier. It's also a huge thing with certain legendaries. There's like a huge counters and balances act with a lot of legendaries. Both will likely come someday, with close monitoring in PvP, but it's unlikely that will be soon. So, a lot of one day, eventually we might see a lot of these. I thought it was just interesting to talk about. The speed boost Blaziken maybe on the table is a pretty crazy sentence, but at the same time, banned in singles PvP. It's just too problematic unless there was other things that power crept it. That's it. Just some interesting news, nothing's really changing, but it's like philosophy going forward. It's balancing philosophy and power creep philosophy moving forward. So I thought it was important to talk about and spread to the overall community. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, fun, enjoyable, and keeps you up to date with PokeMMO. Like it if it was, dislike it if it wasn't. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. Follow the Twitch for streams. You guys know the drill. Have a great day and play PokeMMO. Peace, Reno.